we are now reasoning differently. I think we have learnt a lot in terms of packaging our message.
We can be the ones that can help and promote peace in our own respective countries as well as our continent.
We're committed to providing platforms to try and support that drive for change.
We stand for peace!
Youth peace builders from Commonwealth countries in Africa were set to establish a regional youth peace building network following a connection and capacity building event held by the Commonwealth Secretariat and the Institute of Strategic Dialogue (ISD) in Kigali, Rwanda from 11th to 13th February 2016. They were in Rwanda for a reason.
The reason we're here in Rwanda is the Commonwealth is interested to work with young people on peace building initiatives. And so one of the projects that we have in mind is to set up peace building networks across the Commonwealth. And so we're in Rwanda because Rwanda is hosting the Africa Regional Youth Network on Peace Building. And so we have brought countries, other young people from other countries to Rwanda, because Rwanda also is a very good country for looking at how to build peace, how to keep peace, how to build reconciliation and social cohesion.
I'm here to run our first Commonwealth YouthCan Innovation Lab, and that is to bring 35 regional activists together and help them develop their skills and scale up their voices.
We had some kind of peace building network experience in the Europe region, but we really want to bring peace building to the other regions in the Commonwealth that really need support in terms of mobilizing their young people, getting them talking, getting them working together, and really getting them to act as a unit to get rid of any forms of conflict and violence and extremism in their own countries.
On start, participants visited the Kigali Genocide Memorial to reflect on the impact of violence on societies and ground their training, which included skills in upscaling social media and community campaigns. Participants got different ideas after visiting the memorial.
It's very sad. I'm feeling very sad. I'm feeling very low at the moment, and it has been an opportunity for me to learn about violent extremism, war, and the effects of war, and you know how to go about the healing process just to ensure that this doesn't happen again.
It has been a pretty emotional journey going through the different stages of the tour in the memorial site, but I personally feel the world has failed Rwanda. The UN has failed Rwanda, and I'm glad that Rwanda is in a healing process and they've learned from their past and they're doing amazingly well. When I said I was coming to Rwanda, a lot of people were scared because I've been hearing about the genocide, but I didn't really get to understand what it really meant to Rwanda and Rwandans until I saw for myself the effects of what it has done to them, and I feel it has been hard, and I'm glad they've been through it and they're done with it.
I felt so much traumatized because all along I've been hearing about the genocide, and I didn't know what reality these people went through. But at a certain point I realized that the genocide should not happen again, because I felt so much pain. I get a lot of why could such kind of incident happen in the presence of the life and innocent people who are there, the government itself, to protect their life? Why should it just happen in such kind of a scenario? How did it happen? And how did the churches themselves were supposed to preach the word of love and of fueling violence among its masses? So I felt so bad.
Generally, peace builders around the world could be inspired by the story of Rwanda. And it was just interesting that we're talking with a lot of young people from across the continent. They didn't really know the details of the Rwandan story. So it was just key to bring them all here, to really connect with the history of Rwanda, to see what lessons they can learn to make their countries better and more peaceful.
Young people's multiple identities uniquely position them to connect, build understanding, and influence their peers. different countries were put together.
Right here in Rwanda, out of 35 people, there are 11 different African countries represented. And in the total YouthCan network, there's over 55 countries represented.
They have a vital role to play in paving the way for peaceful communities and proactively countering violent extremism. Such networks allow young people to enhance the impact of their work while promoting Commonwealth values of respect, understanding, and peace. Innovation Lab targeted youth because they have strength that people don't know yet.
Young people are the leaders of any country of the world. They're the global leaders. And for them to really take up key roles and to push forward the Commonwealth values of things like democracy and peace and respect and understanding, somebody needs to give them the skills to be able to do it. Somebody needs to let them know that there's something different.
Young people, youth, can be real drivers of change. There's also a value in terms of being able to engage young people, to have constructive dialogue about solutions, constructive dialogue about policy options, constructive dialogue about programming. One thing that, as a Commonwealth Secretariat, we commit to is trying to take that dialogue and feed it up into the different sort of Commonwealth discussions that we have. So I think simply it's that young people and youth can be and are real drivers for change, and so we're committed to providing platforms to try and support that drive for change.
During the 3 days in Kigali workshop or Innovation Lab, the young people built their capacity to analyze the root causes of conflict in their communities and techniques to build social cohesion using a variety of methodologies. The workshop culminated on the creation of anti-extremism, peace messages, and action plans. Participants have learned a lot in Innovation Lab.
From this workshop, I think it has given us an opportunity to meet more new people, and also it's open to new ideas, and we are now reasoning differently. I think we have learned a lot in terms of packaging our message to the outside world as civil activists.
This workshop is quite a good platform for different players and different creative people from different industries just to come together and to share our ideas, and also to set the ball rolling in how we can counter extremism in Africa.
As a person who is working with young people in our countries, young people, we are always seen as agents of violence, so we can be used politically or even economically or socially, so we can be the ones that are initiating violence in our own countries. So this training has been educated for this, so we can be those agents of change, so that we don't have to be agents of violence, but we can be the ones that can help and promote peace in our own respective countries as well as our continent.
Most of the things I learned actually are things that have been happening around us, but we never notice. For example, I didn't know that I usually avoid problems. I didn't know that. We're not talking about how we react to problems. I realize I tend to avoid problems or compromise problems, or compromise my standards so that people can be comfortable.
It will be more difficult to do follow-up of each one in their countries, but that's why they built a network.
We have a lab, which obviously you can get so much when you're face-to-face with somebody, and sometimes some of that energy goes away once you leave the table. But we have an online private network for these young people to continue talking and posting about what they're doing and following up with us. But we also have people that work specifically to keep in touch and to try to help them develop the ideas that started here and help them launch them into the real world.
This is the first Youth Innovation Lab. More will follow in Commonwealth countries.
Well, we're still in between deciding where exactly it's going to be, but it will be in the Asia region. The first one was in Africa, and based on how this got kickstarted, I'm really excited to see where things go with Asia. So ideally we want to start engaging young people, so not just waiting for the next lab to get them on board. So with this African group, they can also start to inspire people from other regions. We've still got Asia to go, the Caribbean to go, we've still got the Pacific to go. So we're ready to start working. The year is still young.